welcome back to the Corporate Esports Association Dota 2 Spring 2020 tournament. We've got a slightly different format today because I'm playing in this game, so this is a little bit more of a replay review than a play-by-play. I'll try my best to be not biased about this, but hopefully I can share some insight into how I'm approaching drafting and what's going on my team, and maybe put on an educational show. Let's put it like that. So I mean, this is a bit of a mess. Google Cloud players told us the morning of the games are scheduled for Saturday at midday every weekend. But you can move it if both teams come to an agreement beforehand. So we were trying to move this game to Sunday night, and they did not respond to us at all until 10 a.m. of Saturday, saying oh yeah, we can play today. And it's like, wait, what? So we're trying to scramble 5 players together because we hadn't confirmed for this day. Luckily we were able to get 5 players together, so we didn't have to forfeit. So that was quite lucky. But anyway, let's hop into the draft. So already Arc Warden banned out, so this is definitely a respect ban. Arc, this is grief for Arc, I guess. Alex plays a lot of Arc Warden. It's probably one of his favorite heroes, so I feel like we gotta start hiding our Dota buff profiles. Just put everything on private. I don't want to see any of these targeted bans from now on. So I don't have that much information on Google Cloud players myself. I just know from their week 1 game, the carry player, the player who's playing carry, the Monkey King, and the guy who was playing Storm in that game were both Immortal players. So I'm like, okay, well, let's just ban out one of the one hero, one role really badly. So decided to ban out some really popular heroes right now. So the Monkey King, which we saw him play, the Faceless Void, and Drow are 2 pretty popular heroes right now. I know my team banning out Faceless Void, pretty unacceptable. Which means we left Slaughter in the pool. I kind of expected them to pick Slaughter, so I was like, okay, what does well against Slaughter? And actually, this is Doge was like, yeah, Bane seems to do okay. I'm like, alright, well, this game, it's the playoffs are quite far away, so I was like, let's try this out. We'll pick Bane. He's a pretty strong laner, obviously not as strong as Slaughter. We don't expect to win this lane, but we don't expect to get crushed. And I'm picking Invoker because low-key, this was always going to be my hero. I've been this is the time to flex a little bit. I've been grinding position 4 Invoker for 6 months now, and I finally feel like it's ready to show off. So I mean, it's also a flex pick because Arc plays it as well. So we can, if the matchup is not bad in mid, we can just put an Exort Invoker in mid. But I was mostly picking this for myself, but I mean, this is the first time I've showed off my Invoker publicly, so I guess they're probably not expecting it. But they're gonna pick an Oracle straight away, so this immediately had me sweating bullets. So I was like, oh my god, Oracle against Invoker, just any Dispel against Invoker, especially if you're a position 4 Invoker, Cold Snap it really is your bread and butter, and if you're up against an Abaddon or LC, it's pretty miserable. So I was kind of annoyed that we had to go up against the Oracle pick so early, especially because he has 2 ways to spell it with the Fortune's End and the False Promise. I'm like, okay, well, I've sort of drafted myself into this hole already. So at this point we're kind of thinking oh well, what don't we want to deal with? That's a good Oracle pairing. They've already banned Husker, so we don't have to worry about that. OD is the next big one. It's you know, you just False Promise the OD, hits a bunch of people, and then he drops the hammer and everyone dies. So we don't want to deal with that at all. We also thought about banning Troll, but they banned it for us. So I was like, thank god we don't have to waste the ban on Troll, because that's another pretty common hero pairing for them. So they're gonna ban Treant Protector. I thought this was a little bit odd, especially because like we already had a Bane, and like Treant's not like that popular as a position 4. So, and Bane definitely is not a position 4. He's garbage. He doesn't do anything with farm. Like maybe an Aether Lens is nice, but like other than that, I think the Ags has been changed several times, and it's like the Nightmare one was really cool, but now it's just like this brain sap like cooldown reduction. It's not that very good. So at this point, I was trying to think about what I wanted to pick for carry and offlane. So we're trying out some new roles this game. We got Messinator on carry and Kasim. I think he's changed. This guy changes his name like every week. So on the sign-up sheet, he put his name down as Q-Dog. So I'll probably refer to him as Q-Dog from now on. So Q-Dog, he's normally a mid player, but he's gonna try out position 3 today. So I was like, okay, well Messinator's been playing carry. He's been practicing carry for the last week. So I was like, whatever's comfortable for you. We're like, he really wanted to play PL, so that's why I banned Puck. And they go with a Phoenix pick, which has been like really, no pun intended, like a bane of my existence recently. I've been seeing so many Phoenixes, and whenever I play safe lane against Phoenix, I'm just like, this is the worst hero to go up against. You just, the Fire Spirits, it lasts forever. If they like chain Fire Spirits, you're like trying to dodge it, you can't. Like you just get outplayed, and then like you just feel miserable. Especially when it hits level 3, and the Fire Spirits do so much damage. Anyway, so this is like the first time we've had a Q-Dog on offlane, so I actually wanted to pick his hero a little bit later in the draft than I normally would for an offlane player, so to give him like the best possible like game, because I knew like there was a bit of question marks in that space, so I was like, oh well, we're up against Oracle, so Oracle is like not, I mean, there's a lot of magic burst, so you have to pick someone like with sustain. Otherwise, Oracle will just run you over with like the multiple purifying flames. At this point, we're like thinking about LC because you can also dispel the Fire Spirits going into the egg, so it'll make it a lot easier to take down the egg later on. I mean, when you're up against Phoenix, there's like 2 approaches. It's either like go tons of attack speed and like steroids like Ogre, LC, or you can just ignore it completely, draft a lot of mobility, and make sure you can just run away from it. Because right now, it's just the Oracle and the Slaughter that they have as lockdown. Like Slaughter, you have to get up close, and Oracle, she's got to like charge up the Fortune's End, so it's I don't know what, I guess Oracle's a he. Oracle's got to like charge up the Fortune's End, so it takes a lot of time. So we're like, we're not that concerned about the Phoenix egg, to be honest. Like we can always just run away. I'm playing a Coswex Invoker, so I've got the Ghost Walk to get a ton of move speed. PL, he can always doppelganger off, like he can always use doppelganger to dodge the egg explosion. Worst comes to worst, as long as he's not stunned while it happens or rooted. So this one, I gotta say, we took a little bit more time than I was expecting on this pick. We won the coin toss, so we picked second pick. The other thing is we weren't sure if we were up against this Immortal mid player. It turned out we weren't, but just in case, like I wanted to make sure that Ark got the best like matchup he could get. So that's why we went with second pick. So Ark is like Divine 2. If we were up against like a Immortal mid laner, it's like, well, this better be a good matchup for him. So there's the Legion Commander. And they're gonna go with Kunkka, which I thought was like kind of interesting. So at this point, we're like, this is definitely a mid Kunkka because they already have a Slaughter. It's not gonna be any shenanigans there. So we're feeling pretty good about like this last pick already. We already know what the matchup is going to be. There's a few options on the table for us. TA does pretty well against Kunkka. Timbersaw does really well against Kunkka too. Viper. So, but the good thing about having overall last pick is like we get to decide here. So we ban out Lifestealer because there's a lot of options here with this lineup. Like you can jump in the Phoenix, jump in the Slaughter. He's good against like all those options I listed as like good against Kunkka. Or I guess not, maybe not as much against TA, but it's pretty annoying for TA to deal with. This isn't a good TA game anyway because of the Phoenix. So that was kind of off the table. We're thinking about Timbersaw at this point, and Lifestealer I think was like the perfect ban for us. So at this point, we're like, they're probably gonna ban like a mid that does really well. Oh yeah, Razor's another one that does really well against Kunkka, and Lifestealer does questionably well against Razor. I mean, if Lifestealer's not the one getting linked, then he does really well. But we think they're probably gonna ban Kunkka, ban Razor, because that seemed like the obvious choice for them. But then I was kind of curious about what kind of carry they were going to pick. The other thing was like, oh, what are they going to pick against PL to out carry him? And my mind goes to like Naga, because like the Riptide actually does really well against PL, and the rest of our heroes, we're not that equipped to deal with Naga. Like Bane is all single target, Invoker's like mostly single target. You have the Tornado, sure, but like you don't really have a way to clear the illusions. LC overwhelming odds is like fine for the first like 30 minutes, and then it falls off. So I think Naga was one that we were really worried about, especially with like with the egg combo and like boat as well.
10 seconds to pick. 5 seconds. Hurry, hurry.
And I think, in retrospect, I think they may have picked this Kunkka like at this point, because they thought like maybe we had an Invoker mid. That's the whole like thing about flex picking, right? Is why it's so strong in the draft. If you have multiple players who can play the same heroes in different roles, that's a pretty big positive for your team. So they're gonna go with Sven. It seems like a pretty sensible option against PO. You get a lot of cleave. The AoE Stormhammer is really nice, but at this point we're like, they have 4 strength heroes, and not that much lockdown. Like there's Stormbolt, there's X, which is like kind of problematic, and Crush, and maybe Oracle. But like I already mentioned like the downfalls of the first two, and Stormhammer's cast range isn't that big either. And we're like, this is such an easy Timbersaw game. We're just trying to go over like our last options here, just making sure like, you know, we cross all the T's and dot all the I's. We're gonna go with Timbersaw, so I'm feeling incredibly confident about this lineup, our lineup versus theirs. Like Timbersaw, he's gonna have a field day against Kunkka in mid, and then he'll be able to slowly take over the game as well. I mean, TBH, like the reason I picked up Invoker was this Kid Invoker persona. it's really cool. I really like this. I wish you could use the other like Invoker skins on it, but maybe they'll look too horrifying. So there's a few like wild cards on my side. Like obviously having Q-Dog on offlane is like, that's a first for us. And also Bane is not really a hero we've like practiced a whole lot with, but yeah, it can't be that bad, right? Like he's a pretty strong laner. He like has a lot of single target lockdown too. So I mean, he can hold down 2 heroes at once, right? That's a big problem. Oh yeah, and after the game happened, Ark was like, this is my first time playing Timbersaw. I was like, wow, thanks for letting me know, dude. Anyway, let's introduce the teams. I cannot pronounce this name. It says Castling, I can read that. So we got Castling on the Oracle, Postmortem +1 on the Phoenix, Yuzu on the Slaughter, Diablo on the Kunkka, and I don't know. I just know this word says big, but I don't know what the rest of it says. So I'll just call him big for now. That's the only word I understood on the Sven. On the side of my team, we got Messinator on the PL. This is Doge on the Bane. Myself on the Invoker. Alex on the Timbersaw, and Q-Dog on the Legion Commander. So there's a few ways you can go with LC these days, like especially since Seb made max press the attack really popular. We were kind of thinking like that's probably the build we want to go for. We just want to out sustain them in this lane, because Oracle, I mean, doesn't have the most mana, but top lane straight away. This is Doge in a little bit of trouble. The level 1 bash coming out from Slaughter as well will almost guarantee this kill. The last Fire Spirit will connect, but this is Doge managing to... Oh, he gets clipped with one more Fire Spirit, but it seems like the Tango is going to keep him alive. So Bane with that beefy health pool, 740 for a support. It's pretty good, but we got outplayed a little bit down here. So Sven managed to sneak in and grab our bounty runes. So it's going to be 3 bounty runes going the way of Google Cloud players early on, and he's going to quickly TP back to the lane. I wasn't able to catch him in time to cancel this TP with Cold Snap though. So this mid lane, it's going to be really tough for Kunkka. Like, being a strength hero against Timbersaw is pretty miserable, and especially like the way Kunkka normally wins the lane is to like you know, whittle your opponent down with Tidebringers, but you can't really do that against Timbersaw. Although interesting that like Arc went level 1 Welling Death. I think it's just to help him last hit, and he's got to level 2 after the first wave anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. So top lane, I mean, I didn't really know what was going on up here during the lane, so we might focus on here. Bottom lane, I can say that like not too much happened. It was a pretty passive lane. I was a little bit triggered by this level 1 Moment of Courage, but it's fine. Just because like I bought the Bassi rank for the lane, so like, oh, if you guys press the attack, you can spam it more because like we have the Bassi ring for the mana regen. But it's fine. Like once he gets level 2, it's not a big deal. So normally being a melee hero against Slaughter is pretty miserable, but the Bane is there to make it a little bit easier. With this new Enfeeble as well is quite interesting. I haven't really seen it too much. Brain Sap is pure damage, magic damage now as well, so it gets buffed by the Enfeeble. Although one thing we discovered after this game, unfortunately, is Enfeeble actually applies before the first spell hits. So you'll see that this is Doge. He actually like brain saps into Nightmare or brain saps into Fiend's Grip. But he doesn't actually need to. It's like Deso, Enfeeble applies before the attack hits. So you don't have to brain sap first. So the other thing that makes this lane like really viable for us is that with this early point in Warcry that we saw Sven pick up a little bit later, I can just tornado off. So all this damage mitigation that Sven has is like not that effective anymore. But even then, like it's actually not a whole lot. 6 armor. Oh, actually it's pretty decent actually. So mid lane, it's actually pretty even so far. But it might. Seems like it will get worse. First blood at top. PL goes down. Seems like a easy bash. 2 points in the bash from Slaughter. I feel like I've normally been seeing like 2 points in bash and then max sprint from there on out. It's just really good for the laning phase, but things have changed. Guardian sprint costs mana now, so that definitely was a thing in this version. So mid lane actually going pretty evenly for both players. The base damage is around the same as well. And top lane, PL getting dumpstered a little bit, at least compared to the Sven. 7 last hits against 4. But manages to pick up that Seder last hit on the creep pool. That's pretty nice for him. And post-mortem, he has... yeah, he has a... dive, so it's not gonna go down there. And Diablo now, he's kind of struggling this lane. He has a salve, but he's just gonna get taken down by the Whirling Death. I believe the attribute reduction happens before the damage happens. So you like cut down their strength significantly, and then you like can get the finishing blow. But I mean, other than that, it's pretty stable so far. Yeah, so the tornado like instantly cancelled the war cry, which feels pretty good. I mean, we're just like trying to like slowly burn through all their regen. Sven is, I mean, he has 3 more tangos now that just got delivered, I believe. I didn't see that before. He has a Morbid Mask now as well, so it's a little bit harder to burn through it. But Yuzu jumping on this is Doge. He's gonna have another bash ready, but I don't think he's gonna get this kill. Bane is pretty tanky. And the Nightmare. Oh, Yuzu gonna die if the Bane here. He has the crush, but only one bash of the deep stack. But the Brain Sap's gonna buy a lot of time here. The bash comes out. The Yuzu, he is diving deep for this one. Spirit lands to slow down Yuzu, and it seems like no one's gonna die up here. 5 minutes. It seems like I remember Oracle outplayed me super hard here, but I managed to grab the other bounty rune as well. And this is Doge managing to get one of the bounty runes at top, so it's going to be 2 for 2. Not too bad for us. I do remember this coming up. We were like both saying we're going to start with Bassi Ring. I think it's fine. Like one person can just sell it later, or like you're not really, the supports aren't going to be together at the start, so it's not a big deal, especially if we're 2-1-2ing like we are now. So we've like almost burnt through all of Sven and Oracle's regen. At this point, I don't think they really want to buy more regen. The Cold Snap comes out onto Sven. He's not gonna go down here. The Tornado is just barely out of range. Level 1 Wex. And Messinator, he's gonna go down again. Didn't even get the bash hit this time to get the kill. This lane is pretty tough for PL. Like it's, I wouldn't blame him for that. And Q-Dog ends up going down here. He gets nuked down by the Purifying Flames. I feel like I'm like a second behind on all these kills.
Dire's top tower is being attacked.
So I didn't like this move too much from Messinator. I think like this lane is pretty much over. I don't think there's that many ways for him to win anymore. He's just trying to get level 6 before he goes to the jungle and farm. Bane, he's made his way down here. I told them that there was a stack down here for the Sven, so it's like, oh, we should take the stack away from him. There's no point in overwhelming odds though, so it's pretty hard. I wanted Q-Dog to go for a 1-3-1 build, but he put his second point in Moment of Courage early on, so I was kind of like, well, this kind of defeated the purpose of the build. But because like if you don't have any points in overwhelming odds, then you can't get the bonus move speed. But yeah, we managed to take the stack by pulling into the creep wave at some point. But Bane, he's heading mid. He's got a Nightmare. He's got a Nightmare Diablo here for the Timber Sword to be able to catch up. He's gonna wait for all the cooldowns to go off, and then Diablo, he is in a ton of trouble now. Oh, manages to juke out the Timber Chain, but this is Doge. Oh, the Centaur Stomp, getting the kill there. Yeah, but Messinator goes down again, so he definitely should like think about leaving this lane soon, especially because Bane is no longer there to assist him. So yeah, this was I thought this was a pretty like pivotal moment in our lane. Like I managed to pull our creep wave into the neutral camp, and then I also found a trusty shovel, which I think is the best item in the game. You just like, if you can dig up one bounty rune, that's like instantly more value than like any of the other tier 1 items. And the fact that you like have this for the whole game is like, it's pretty game winning. So PL, not quite level 6 yet, but he's already been forced to leave the lane, which is somewhat problematic. Maybe you should look to I guess Slaughter just TP'd out of lane. It seems like just left. That's a little bit odd. Phoenix might not be in too much trouble here. Slaughter's here now, so it's time to turn this around. But there's already 3 heroes top, so 3v3 here. Oracle's here as well. So Sven, he's completely left the lane. He's just gone to the jungle, which gives Q-Dog a pretty free lane here. Tried to shovel a baddie rune, but that was not the case. And I'm gonna feed here. I should not have walked in this direction. So it's probably not a good idea. But Phoenix is 6 now as well, so this is really scary for us. Timbersaw, he's TPing in. He might be able to turn this around. The Super never comes off. Yuzu takes a big chunk of damage from the Whirling Death. But Timbersaw, the egg goes off, but nothing's going to kill him here. Bane does go down to Diablo's rotation. But Messinator, he might also be in a bit of trouble here. He has a doppelganger. Yuzu will end up going down to the Timbersaw on the side here. And it seems like Messinator is going to survive. This is pretty big for him because now he has level 6. He can start farming the jungle camps by himself. This whole time, Q-Dog's just been like chilling down here, getting free farm. Diablo will come in to like mess him up a little bit, but max press the attack. And this Kunkka is only level 7. Timsaw's level 10. This is a pretty big disaster for the Kunkka's lane. And I mean, it really shows in the net worth as well. 1.5k behind. And I mean, Ark get another kill on the Phoenix there. So Timbersaw, he's set to take over the game. I think he's... I can't remember what he's going for first. I think he's going for a pipe or a hood first. So I decided to give Bane the level 6 because my level 6 doesn't do anything. And the level 2 Ghostwalk is pretty sad. I'm trying to look for a kill with this, and I know they don't have the new detection in mid because otherwise this would have gotten de-warded a long time ago. Sly just gonna slither away. It is really slow. Top lane, Messinator might be in a bit of trouble again. I like this PL build a lot, especially if you like think you're going to be losing. Like just max Phantom Rush. It's so good for farming. 44 bonus agility. So I found the Sven. I remember, yeah, LC, he got spotted by the creeps. So I remember I was telling him like, dude, the creeps are coming. Like, don't leave the trees yet, because one thing you can tell where the creep equilibrium, like, if you want to sneak out here, look at your creeps and where they are relative to like where you're standing on their side of the map, because the mid lane is actually symmetrical, unlike the other lanes. So it's like very easy to tell in mid. So we're gonna sack top lane completely and just send PL to bot because we already have good vision down here and top seems like a lost cause at this point. It's time to pressure the mid tower. So Sven, go for a Mask of Madness. It's pretty normal these days. I don't think you see Echo Saber too commonly anymore. Diablo, he might be in a bit of trouble here. So you're gonna see a Brain Sap into a Fiend's Grip. That's because we didn't really know that like that was an option. But the Fiend's Grip lasts forever now. EMP as well with the Cold Snap earn, and Diablo, he is in a ton of trouble. He's gonna get the Ghost Ship out, but he's not going to get the return kill on Messinator here. Very close, but just barely making out. I mean, LC trying to look for a duel, but it's kind of scary against 3 heroes. Maybe you could get this Phoenix if it doesn't have Fire Spirits down. This LC doesn't have any duel wins yet, so it's not ready to snowball. I mean, the style we were playing was like, we were trying to have like a more of a utility LC, but I guess it's like not a big deal. LC, maybe gonna duel this Sven. Mask of Madness gets delivered. Timbersaw's coming. So is the Invoker and Bane. So, Stormbolt on the LC. The God Strength is popped. Q-Dog, he has to run now. He doesn't have press the attack anymore. The Tornado's going to come in and disrupt the Sven. LC does end up going down here. The EMP to zone out the fight. It's going to get rid of all of Slaughter's mana. And it's time to retreat if you're the side of Facebook. I'm trying to get out of there with my stubborn little legs. A nice chakram to slow them down a little bit. The Corrosive Haze is going to slowly tick down, but Torrent is barely not going to be able to kill me. I have a staff from the shovel as well. So Alex, he's going to try and make some space here. The Tornado onto 2 heroes. He's going to miss with the Timber Chain though, unfortunately. But now Cold Snap's coming up cooldown. The boat comes out as well. Not going to kill the Invoker. Post-mortem, he's getting pretty low, and he's actually maybe gonna go down here. The chakra will finish him off. So I was, in my mind, like we only lost the LC in that really long fight, and space created for the PL. I mean, he managed to catch up. Okay, it's level 9 now against the level 9 Sven. So levels wise is about the same, and net worth wise, I mean, you're not going to be able to keep up with the Sven in general. The max cleave build as well, but you're getting close. PL now TPing top. I was not really okay with this decision either. Like, maybe because Sven was finally showed bot. Bane, he's gonna ping the Sven, but Sven has enough game sense, so get the hell out of there. There is a lot of farm at top. It's just like we're all playing this area. We've got like 3 wards here, so it would have been a lot easier for PL to just play in bot. Royal Jelly found by Facebook. The blink is done on Slaughter. This is not an item you see too often anymore on Slaughter, especially first. And Slaughter, I mean, he's in a ton of trouble here. The cold snap comes out. I had no earn charges at this point, but we managed to get the dual win, so that's a big swing in our direction. So the first dual win for Q-Dog here. And I'm gonna walk up this hill. It's kind of scary, but we spot the Sven. See, get too much out of it. And PL, I mean, he's gonna walk into 3 heroes and probably die here. Fortune's End. It doesn't get dodged by the doppelganger, unfortunately. So Messinator gonna have a slow and painful death there. But I mean, space created, I guess. We're taking the mid tier 2 tower, while I mean, they side of Google, they're not really getting anything out of this kill on the PL. It's nice to slow him down. I mean, Sven, he's not farming though, that's the problem. They're not getting anything out of this kill on the PL. So we're just trying to 4-man with the Timbersaw right now to buy space for PL, at least until he gets Diffusal Blade, then he'll be somewhat ready to fight. LC going for a blink next. I wasn't that... Oh, okay. Phoenix gets Phoenix gripped immediately, so there's not going to be any egg for this fight unless the Phoenix buybacks. Tornado comes out, but it's got a whiff. And Q-Dog, I mean, he wants to go for it, but he's not really fast enough. This God Strength is popped now by the Sven. Boat comes out, and LC, he's in a bit of trouble. He's going to get taken down here, so a little bit aggressive from Q-Dog. But Alex, he's going to drop the Chakram to buy some space. And misses the Timber Chain out. Fortune's End, it's going to come out, but he gets the Timber Chain pretty far away. And they're going to keep chasing the blink. Stomp comes out from the Slaughter, but he gets blown up immediately by the Timbersaw. So Yuzu going down here, and Alex is going to be able to make the Great Escape. Meanwhile, PL's farming bottom lane. He's pushing in the tower with the Catapult Wave as well, so he can put a lot of pressure on this tower. And he sees the Kunkka coming with the ward, so Kunkka could be in a bit of trouble. There's no Diffusal Blade yet though.
Dire's top tower is being attacked.
Timbersaw going for a Bloodstone first. There's going to be huge damage coming out on him. Yeah, so this armlet, I thought it was a bit questionable. I thought like, oh, maybe LC could go for like, you know, more utility like a Vlad's or something. Vlad's isn't actually that good for our team this game because we don't have that many, other than the PL, who we don't want to fight with yet anyway, and we don't have a whole lot of right clickers. So, I mean, the armlet, I guess it worked out for us. Like LC can dish out a little bit more damage, but he like went max to press the attack anyway. So I guess the armlet's pretty good for that. You get a nice bit of juicy attack speed. Bot lane, Alex getting X'd and boated and torrented, and the bash might come out, but the Timber Chain early on, the EMP to zone them out. It seems like Kunkka's gonna lose all his mana because of that, and it's gonna be a nice escape from Alex there.
Top tower is being attacked.
And PL, he's got his Diffusal now. It's coming on the Courier. Ring of Aquila found for the Sven. Sven's going S and Y, which is, I thought that was quite an interesting choice. Remember we saw his items and all we saw was a Sange, and I was like, oh, what's going on here? It's not a terrible item on Sven, but we're all pretty mobile heroes. Other than the Bane, like everyone's a pretty fast hero. Blink's gonna come out on LC. Timber's pretty fast. PL's like fairly elusive. So like, I feel like Blink probably would have been a better option, but it is a carry Sven. Initiating is not your job, but sometimes you might need one. We've been seeing Ags more recently as like a 4th or 5th item, as like your way to get into the fights in the late game. But you definitely need a BKB first, so there's smoke up on the side of Facebook. Yeah, so we know that in our outpost area, because like it's 19 minutes, and Yuzu, he's just gonna get Nightmared, Thieves Gripped, actually the whole kit and caboodle, and Jewel as well. So everything thrown on this Slaughter just to make sure he has a bad game. So we're gonna lose this outpost for sure, but it's not really a big deal. We feel like we're pretty far ahead at this point, to be honest. Like this Kunkka, he's been like shut down pretty heavily. He left. He's actually going for a Radiance. I'm not really a big fan of this, because I think like this Kunkka, he's so far behind, especially compared to the Timber Swords. Actually, yeah, Kunkka's caught up on levels, but I felt like this Kunkka was really far behind from my in-game experience. Stormbolt will get dodged by the Doppelganger, so not bad. It seems like the call is to take top tower. You still haven't been able to take this top area yet. Castling, he's gonna get blown up. Forced to play the false promise on himself though, so it's a pretty worthwhile exchange for the Timbersaw. Sunstrike, it's gonna miss. It's a level 1 Exort though. I'm really bad at aiming Sunstrikes, but Kunkka, he's in a lot of trouble now. There's no Fiend's Grip right now, but Diablo seems like he wants more. He's gonna miss the X because of the fog. Seems like everyone's gonna be able to walk out of there. Sven's gonna TP top now. Meanwhile, Yuzu in a little bit of trouble here. And gets Cold Snap earned. Tornado as well. And the Slam's gonna miss. LC in the meantime, he's blinking in the middle of nowhere, but yeah, I definitely messed that one up. I totally forgot about the Nightmare. And Yuzu's gonna be able to slip out of there for a little bit. The Slam comes out, not gonna be able to duel the Slaughter yet. It seems like Slaughter's gonna be able to maybe make it out of there. Blink up in a second. And Yuzu. Oh, the Cold Snap comes out from the Invoker here. And Alex, he's in deep. He's getting X'd. Slaughter's down though. I don't think Google are going to be able to commit to this. And yeah, it doesn't seem like they're that interested at all. And I mean, Slaughter is down for 20 seconds. It's time to put some pressure on this tower. And I mean, Alex is such a beast at this point. With the Bloodstone complete as well. And it's not too much to stop him. We're still going to be worried about the Supernova. Sven still top. He does have a TP though. We decided it's time to back out. Drop the Ice Wall so they can't chase us. It's time to smoke out. At this point we're like thinking about like fake backing. And it seems like Alex wanted to fake back. That was kind of interesting. Alright. Brain sat. But the Fiend's Grip gets cancelled by the Slam from the Slaughter, but Diablo ends up going down here. The God Strength is popped by the Sven, and LC is in a lot of trouble. Gonna get taken down here for his troubles, diving a little bit too deep. Nice EMP Tornado from the Invoker here. The false Promise gets popped on the Slaughter, trying to buy some time. The Ice Wall comes down, but it's not going to stop the Sven from killing the Bane. So it's just the Invoker and the Timber Saw here. Timber in a little bit of trouble. The Deafening Blast going to buy some time, and the Timber Chain out of there as well. So Sven chasing the Invoker, but the Ghost Walk is active now. Timber Saw, he kills the Slaughter here. Yuzu gonna go down, but Alex will finally die. A monster kill streak going the way of Timber Saw, and this is all big space created for the PL. So even though we lost Timber, it was a pretty big kill, but Oracle's the one who got it, so it's like not a big deal for us, to be honest. Like if it was the Sven or the Kunkka, that would have been a bit more of a problem. PL might be in a bit of trouble here. I don't know if he's going to be able to make out this. The egg has come out. He can still use the doppelganger to dodge the hit, but should be able to just walk his way out of there. So there was a little bit throwy down there, but we still managed to get 2 kills out of it, both on Diablo and Yuzu. And we bought a lot of space with PL. We almost got this top T2 tower as well. So Shadowblade next on the LC. I was like, yeah, whatever. Just I kind of felt like we were like really far ahead, and there weren't too many bad options on LC. We didn't really need the utility because I think we were doing fine without it. And there's not that much utility you can buy. Like you can buy a pipe to like stop this Phoenix and Kunkka combo. But Alex, he already had a hood. So I was like, oh, why don't you just build it? He's gonna build a Yules instead. Mostly to dispel the urn. It's quite nice. Nice cheap option to do that with. Orb of Destruction found on Sven here.
Radiant's bottom tower under fire.
Should help him accelerate his farm a lot. You don't normally see minus armor on Sven, but this is a pretty dope way of getting it. It's free as well. Alex continuing to be a menace on the other side of the map. Orb of Destruction now found on our own side. LC is going to grab that with a Shadow Blade as well. Should significantly increase LC's pick-off capabilities. So we're seeing that Sven is at top. We're going to go for a Kunkka first, because he's already here. And LC not able to duel the Oracle. I think he got fogged or something like that. And we know that like Kunkka's down for like 30 seconds, so we think we can do Roshan this time, especially with the Orb of Destruction. We're not the fastest Roshan lineup, unfortunately, but with the Alacrity, that's what it's called. It goes down pretty fast. Yule's down the Timbersaw, and I can use Ghost Walk to scout. We know like they have no vision here because we have a sentry as well. So mostly using the Ghost Walk to break smokes. The scan finally comes out from Google, but it's too late. And PL grabs the Aegis. It's time to push. Bot lane. It seems like there's a bit of split going on here. I'm trying to find a pick off before we go high ground. It's a little bit easier this way. I had noticed that my smoke pops immediately, so Yuzu manages to blink out after the Spirit Vessel, but Yules from the Timbersaw will be able to catch the Slaughter here, and not going to be able to get the slam off in time, unfortunately, for the to stop the duel. But he was definitely dead, and it's time to go high ground. Creepways pushing in. Actually, I don't think we go high ground here. We're gonna take the tier 2 instead. Slaughter's only down for 40 seconds, so it's like not really long enough to commit to a high ground push. But if we can find another pick off, that would be pretty dope. LC is looking for some trouble. Those cartwheels are so awesome. A bunch of lines being drawn towards the base. Sven, he's quite a bit out of position here. Cold Snap, EMP comes out, Fiend's Grip as well, finally saved by the False Promise, but was it worth it? LC's in. See who decides to duel. Just gonna cause a lot of chaos. Forcing the run back, and Messinator beating away at the towers now. The glyph is forced by Google Cloud players. We're trying to retreat now. The Ice Wall to block the retreat. So at this point, it's not really a big deal if we go high ground or not. We have a huge advantage already. A 9k gold lead, 28 minutes into the game. It's nothing to scoff at. And we're just gonna like farm for the T3 for the rest of the items. I think we're still missing a T3 item, right? And there's 2 items missing on the side of Google Cloud players as well. We still have plenty of time on the Aegis for now. Telescope found for Google Cloud players. They're pretty good on the Oracle. Get that extra cast range. And pause from the Oracle. Bad mana question mark for myself. Yeah, I remember this one being a pretty quick pause. So Sven, yeah, this Sven build was really confusing for us. We noticed that he didn't have a BKB for ages. The next time we see him, he had like a full data list. He also decided to go for Ags instead. I think this was a big mistake from the Sven player here. LC deciding to go high ground, and Slade just gonna be able to slither out of there. So at this point we saw these 2 heroes at top. They're taking the outpost and we know they're isolated. So PL gonna TP to the shrine. Sven gonna take the bounty rune. We kind of think the Sven is still there. I actually spotted him out with my Ghost Walk there. Able to stop him from TPing. He doesn't have BKB yet, so he is almost certainly going to die. The duel comes out, and Sven is dead for 74 seconds and no buyback either. He bought out his dayless. He's not able to buy back for this fight. That's this high ground push that's inevitably coming. So if you're Google Cloud players, you gotta push out the waves as far as you can right now. I'm trying to find an extra pick off here to make sure this doesn't happen. And I find in Diablo he has the false promise available. The Fiend's Grip comes out. His BKB gets delivered on the courier, but he looks like he might still be in a bit of trouble here. The Tornado, just to buy a little extra time, he pops the BKB, but he has no TP out of there, so he's gonna die for sure. There's no way he can run away from Timber and Invoker here. So Ghost Walk for the max movement speed, and the Cold Snap getting popped now, and Messenger, he's just in the base by himself, no backup. Oh, actually Kasim's here as well, but Kunka's gonna go down on the side as well eventually. It took a long time to kill him though, but Messenger, he's gonna be able to get the top melee racks already. And it's time to group up again. Cold Snap Urn comes out against Slada in a lot of trouble, and he might also get taken down here. So another rack's looking like it's gonna fall. It's just 3v5 now, and God Strength is popped by the Sven, but he might be in a bit of trouble. The Supernova popped in the back line. It's not really gonna affect anyone. It's gonna go off without stunning anyone. And Sven in a lot of trouble now. He is out of mana. He's out of life. Eventually, there you go. So it seems like Facebook, they're gonna be able to take this game. The false promise and the tornado just moving around a bit at this point. And the Phoenix actually gonna die here because of the Spirit Vessel. And yeah, I mean, I felt like we outdrafted them pretty hard. I'd say it was more that than anything else at this point. I think our Timbersaw pick really screwed them over. They had 4 strength heroes, and Timber had pretty much a free lane. But yeah, that was a debut of my support Invoker. I thought it went pretty well. I mean, it was pretty close for a while, and then I think there was that at the first fight where like it was 5v4 and somehow like Timber and myself made it out alive, and meanwhile like PL was busy farming his diffuser blade. That was a big fight for us. There was another similar fight. Basically we were able to create so much space for PL that he actually managed to become top net worth in the game. Oh, actually Somehow LC was top net worth. That's pretty wild. But yeah, I mean, like we were able to create tons of space for the PL to catch up, even though he had a pretty tough lane. But yeah, that went pretty well for our team.